And welcome to a Business Minute with Lily Lopez, presented by the South Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, straight from the House of Representatives, with one of our favorite Congressmen, Mario Díaz-Balart. Thank you so much.
So good to see you.
You're running around and you took time off just to be here with me and to say hello to our viewers.
Well, first, thank you.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, well,
like
we're just
30,000.
saying, I just stepped out of the an appropriations markup appropriation. You know, the one thing that Congress has the responsibility, the obligation to do, which is really our only constitutional obligation, is to do the spending bills.
A lot of spending.
As you know, yeah, but we're going to be doing a lot less. We're cutting
cuts.
spending.
Okay.
And so I'm vice chairman of the full committee, but also chairman of a subcommittee. But now I just stepped out of a markup of a different one, which is starting now and will probably be there throughout the night.
Well, thank you for stepping out for a minute just to be here with me. And so let me know what's really happening. I mean, what are the most pressing issues? I see there's a lot of things happening.
There are.
People are worried. So what should we say to those who are listening to us
Well,
today?
number one is I remind people that this new administration has only been in control for, 5 months?
Yeah, nothing. Exactly.
And has been very aggressive and very active. I like what I'm seeing in most fronts.
Okay.
Actually, I like what I'm seeing in all fronts. Do I agree in 100%? No. But what this president and this administration is trying to do is revert a lot of the damage that has been caused in the last 4 years.
Absolutely.
In Congress, we are doing a lot of things as well. So while the White House has been busy, Congress has been busy. The president's agenda, which he ran on, is really encapsulated in one bill, which he likes to call the one big beautiful bill. House already passed it. It's in the Senate. The Senate's going to now be doing what they're going to do, and I'm sure they'll make changes. And that's that. Two things about that. No legislation is perfect, obviously, in particular something that's so large. But if it doesn't pass, if it doesn't become law, let me tell you what happens. The so-called tax cuts that we're living under right now go away.
Oh, okay.
And for the people that I represent in the district that I'm honored to represent, that would mean that for an average family that I represent in District 26, it's a tax increase of 26%.
That's huge. No.
It's devastating.
Of course, it's horrible.
It's also devastating for the economy.
Of course it is.
And so which is why we have to pass that one big beautiful bill.
Yes.
Because of that. There are also some other really important things in there.
But people don't talk about that. I don't hear it in the media.
No.
What you just said today.
I know.
To me.
But that's
I never heard that.
That's a reality. In other words,
increase.
and it's not like people talking about tax cuts. It's keeping the tax code where it is today.
Where it is today.
Not having a massive increase.
To avoid the 26% increase, right?
Yes. Well, that's 26% increase average of the people that I represent.
Of the people you represent.
Districts, it might be more, maybe less.
Maybe more or less.
But that's real. And if you think that the economy, which is, it needs to do a lot better, that would devastate the economy. But it's not the economy. What does that mean? No, it's going to devastate families. It's going to devastate small businesses. It's going to destroy a lot of people who are struggling.
And the families in your district are just
middle income. I don't represent a wealthy.
Exactly, middle income. That's devastating.
Correct. And so they're all tax cuts to the wealthy. No. We're talking about it would be devastating to middle income.
But we
to
don't
working
hear that
class.
in the media, right?
No, you don't. No, you don't.
So I'm glad you're saying that.
Yeah, and there's a lot more in that. I am convinced that not only if that bill passes, becomes law, and is signed into law.
The big beautiful bill?
Yes, that we avoid that from happening, that massive tax increases from happening, but also there's a lot of other really important good provisions in there, which I am convinced will get this economy just booming. Issues dealing with energy, and energy, not only would we once again become energy independent, we would become energy dominant, which, remember, a lot of people don't know this. We finally became energy independent during the first Trump administration.
I remember that.
And that was squandered away in the last 4 years. And so we're going to go not only to be energy independent, but energy dominant. So obviously it's going to create millions of jobs. So dominant,
explain dominant?
We can become and will become the #1 producer of energy in the world. In the world. Yep. And so what that means in weakening our enemies, those that, whether it's Iran or Russia, you name it, that depend on oil revenues, but also creating millions of jobs here, means that we don't have to depend, we don't have to be importing energy from places around the world. And on the contrary, we'll be able to export. And so
this is big, Mario. This is
it is huge. It is huge, and that, by the way, will be possible by this bill. That's it. So there's so many provisions And the third thing, when you hear, oh, but this is going to increase the deficit, that's a misnomer, I'll tell you why. First place, it reduces spending, eliminating waste, etc. Probably the largest spending reduction of any legislation that I'm aware of in the history of the country. But is it true that if we get no no growth in the economy, that then we're going to continue to have a bad? Yes, of course. But the key part about this bill, and that we know is real, is that it will create economic growth. And
Exactly.
there is no way to tax your way out of the deficit situation.
Exactly.
There's no way to even cut your
I
way
agree.
out of this. You have to create economic growth. So while we're cutting spending, which has to happen, this bill will also create, I think, unprecedented economic growth. So the House has already passed it. The Senate's now working on it. And then, of course, as we just talked about, we're doing the appropriation bills, which is the discretionary part of the spending of the federal government. And I think what you're going to see coming out of the House is we're going to cut spending while still making sure that our priorities are still taken care of.
This is like, wow.
That's what we're working on.
Wow.
It's a lot of things happening.
And
these
you
days.
have stopped doing so many things just to be here with me, and
Well,
I so appreciate it.
That's a pleasure.
Oh, thank
It's a
you. And we've
pleasure.
known each other
It's
for
a
so
pleasure.
many years. I
And
know.
let's
you
not
had-
go there.
you had dark
Let's
hair.
not go there. I don't know what you're
dyed
talking.
mine.
I don't know what you're talking
Let's
about.
not go there. Thank you. And I mean, I saw so many people walking down. I said, what's happening here today? Because I come
It's
here
a
often,
busy-
and
it's a
today is a
busy
busy
time.
day.
It's a
So I
busy
thank
time.
you so much for the fact
Thank
that you just went out of that room where you're voting for that big, beautiful bill.
Well,
and just
actually,
to be
right
here.
now, this is one of the appropriation. So the appropriations, which is the discretionary
give
part
us
of the
a
budget,
class. Give us a class.
is split in 12 subcommittees.
Oh, so it has to go through 12?
No, because it depends on what area of the spending it is. It goes to a different subcommittee,
Okay,
and
okay.
so
So we're getting
I'm-
there. We're getting there.
Yeah,
Basically.
I'm just deeply honored that my colleagues have placed me as chairman of the
Congratulations.
subcommittee that decides
You
the
deserve
spending
that.
on
You deserve
everything
that.
having to do with foreign policy. I'm also the vice chairman of the full committee, which is the 12 subcommittees.
Yet he's
And-
here,
and-
committed.
well,
Yet
because-
he's here.
yeah.
Thank you.
Well, no,
Ay, Mario.
what a great honor and a privilege to
Hi,
have you.
Mario. It's just to see a Cuban American who's here, and you're so important in Congress, and you're recognized nationwide and probably internationally. Everybody knows Díaz-Balart,
Well,
Mario Díaz-Balart, and you're.
I've been so
Es un
blessed.
orgullo. Esto es un orgullo. Que se
Gracias,
español.
gracias.
Un orgullo hispano, un orgullo cubano,
No.
en este sentido.
I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed that because of the voters that I represent, I've been given this opportunity to be in this fight, and that
Yes.
my colleagues here have
Yes.
deemed to, because of relationships and respect, have put me in some very key positions, and that's wonderful.
You deserve
By the
it.
way,
You
you know who I
deserve
met
it.
today?
Who?
Which
Did
I
you-
didn't know. Today we had also, as I mentioned before, we had a hearing with the Secretary of Defense in the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee. I met his chief of staff, who's a Cuban American, and I didn't know that. I hadn't had a chance to meet him, and one is so busy here, and whose father was a political prisoner. He told me in Cuba.
Oh, wow.
So I will find when I can spend a little bit of time.
Those
with
are nice
that.
surprises. You know
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
had last year a
Yeah.
rear admiral, Cuban American, his father was a teacher at Columbus.
Wow.
And that day that we sort of recognized him at the South Florida Hispanic Chamber,
Yeah.
he came and he said, that I went to the school, and my father was there, and received a standing ovation, and
It's
just to see
amazing.
that Cuban
Yeah.
Americans have gone so far. I mean,
Yeah.
Hispanics in general,
Hispanics
we're
in
hardworking. I mean, todos los hispanos.
Well, but because
todos.
this is an amazing country.
It's an amazing country,
This is
a
an
land of
amazing country.
opportunities.
It is a land of opportunity. It is a land that
And
if you're willing to work hard,
You will make it.
every dream is
Absolutely,
possible.
absolutely. Mario,
Yep.
I know. I'm being told
Gracias.
that you have to
Gracias.
leave. Thank you so
I have
much
to go
for
back to
being on our
markup.
Business Minute with Lily Lopez. What an honor, Mario. Un placer estar
Gracias,
contigo
para mí un
siempre.
privilegio poder estar contigo.
Gracias, gracias,
Gracias.
Mario. See you all next week at the same time. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of A Business Minute with Lily Lopez.